Mr. Speaker.
I call Chris Ockenwald.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I'm astonished, as will everybody who had just heard that last speech. It wasn't a speech, it was a rant. It was a rant. There were some parts of it that were so funny, it wasn't true. Like, people, did I hear it right? People are going out of farming into dairying.
Out of meat farming.
Oh, out of meat farming into dairy. And suddenly the farming is coming to a complete halt. Is that a future Minister of Agriculture? I don't think so. I don't think so. Mr. Speaker, I was shocked. I was also aghast when that member suggested that the government has killed people in forestry. That is an appalling thing to say, and that member should be deeply, deeply ashamed. He plays fast and loose with personal tragedies, and I've seen it from him before. I didn't accept it then, and I don't now. But, Mr. Speaker, we're engaged in the general debate. Unlike the previous member, I intend to talk about the place I live in, and that's the West Coast and Tasman, one of those splendid areas where people are worth their weight in gold, one of those areas that is a truly revenue-generating area. And what a wonderful place it is. Say again? Not particularly. I don't think that's there. That was. Well, who won the party vote? We've consistently won the party vote since I've been standing. I held the seat, and indeed there was a change. But stand by, Mr. Mallard. Stand by for the seat to be returned to National, and National will be back on the Treasury benches. Nothing is more certain than that. Tasman and the West Coast supports dairying, fishing, mining, horticulture, forestry and tourism. Think of that. Think of those aspects. I'll say it again. Dairying, fishing, mining, horticulture, forestry and tourism. Basic, real industries in New Zealand. It's an area that has frequently been ravaged by the Labour Party, ravaged and savaged and neglected, just as that member neglected to mention it during his 5 minutes of ghastly rant. But especially they were ravaged by the cruel policies of the Honourable Trevor Mallard when he was Minister of Education, and the school doors slammed as he walked through the West Coast, slammed, and indeed he was vilified. Vilified. But we've had a very busy month down there. We had Tony Ryle in Tasman opening the Golden Bay Integrated Family Healthcare Centre. Just compare that with what Labor ever did in health in West Coast Tasman. Zilch! Absolutely zilch! You won't be hearing much from Labor about health in the next election. Honourable Tony Ryle has dedicated $60 million to the Grey Base Hospital rebuild. What a legacy. What a legacy. It was a pleasure to host Maggie Berry into the electorate for a weekend during the last month. Her easy and natural speaking style was greatly appreciated by all who heard her. An inspiration to all. The Honourable Chris Tremaine, Associate Minister of Tourism, joined Olympic gold medalist cyclists to open the West Coast Wilderness Trail in Kumara a couple of weekends ago. A classic example of small community recovery through a splendid policy of development, a policy of the Prime Minister's, in fact. We had Simon Bridges came down to open the Amethyst electricity generation point, possible because National allows line companies to go into generation. An extremely good day was held there, after which we took him to visit a gold mine, a true working gold mine, as Minister of Energy and Natural Resources. It was an insightful day. Picture, if you will, Mr. Speaker, picture, if you will, the sort of description I've given for West Coast Tasman. Picture that under a Labour Green mixture, with perhaps New Zealand First hanging around on the fringes. Would we have the development? Would we have the revenue earning? Or would the coast consistently be closed? I think it would be closed. I think, and the people of the West Coast think, and let's remember they did come down, they did have a forest and bird meeting, didn't generate much enthusiasm for anybody. No, it was sad. It was sad. And it will be a sad day if we have a Labor Green government down on the West Coast. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I call Catherine Delahunty.